Right. And welcome. We will be going live in a few minutes. Well, we're actually going live right now, but we will be waiting a few minutes before we actually start. So we do have some persons with us on Zoom, as well as we have joining us on Facebook Live. So it'll be wonderful if you can tell us where you're watching us from. If you are from Trinidad and Tobago, tell us what area you're from, as well as on the Zoom chat, you can feel free to also tell us what schools you're at and maybe even what area you're from. So we look forward to chatting with you about pennacool.com powered by Flow very shortly. So we will begin in 3 minutes. In the meantime, feel free to tell us where you're looking at us from, and welcome and thank you for spending this time with us. So we have Miss Marshall from Sandy Grande with us.
Hello.
Welcome.
There's Michelle from Cougar is here as well.
Hi, Michelle. From Superior, from Ottawa. Nice. We have a nice spread all over the country, so that's wonderful.
Chigolas RC.
Yes. Welcome. So we'll officially start in 2 minutes. So is everybody hearing us clearly, seeing us clearly? And remember, if you have persons who you think can benefit from this session, feel free to let them know that they can check us out on the Facebook Live. We have Tobago. Hi.
Hello, Tobago.
Welcome. Labre. Wonderful. All right. So it's now 3:59. We start exactly at 4. All right. And just to remind all of us that you are with us here in Zoom or you are watching us from the Facebook Live, feel free to let us know where you're from. If you're from Trinidad and Tobago, let us know which part you are looking at us from. If you are not from here, tell us which country you're viewing us from. Also, you can give us a little thumbs up or drop a comment in the chat so that we can know you are hearing us and seeing us. And of course, feel free to share the live or invite your friends to join us. So Kim, let's get started. Right, so let me share my screen. We're going to get started. All right. So, hello everyone. Welcome to our Facebook Live, how to effectively use pennacool.com to prepare 21st century students for SEA examination. We would really like to thank Flow for sponsoring this session. And we really thank you for joining us today. And as we mentioned earlier, let us know where you're looking at us from. And of course, give us a thumbs up to ensure that you are hearing and seeing us clearly. So I'm Leanne Pear from 21st Century Educators, and with me today is Kim Mitchell Pear.
Hello.
And she is an expert user of Pennacool.com, and she's been using it for the last 9 years. So we want to really thank you for joining us because it's our first technology session where we have the pleasure of presenting a locally created tool. We are really honored to partner with Pennacool.com, powered by Flow, to chat with you about how Pennacool can be integrated in and out of the classroom and the benefits it brings to our 21st century students as well as the teachers.
Also, just like a good teacher, there'll be a little test at the end to see if you're paying attention. And of course, we also have a little surprise that comes with that.
Kim, you think I could win that surprise?
Maybe, maybe not.
Have to see. At the end of the session, we are really hoping that teachers will be able to navigate Pennacool.com. We want to show you just how easy it is to use and navigate, because of course, when examining products for teachers, it's really important that it does not add to our already hectic schedules. We want to show you a tool that has a low learning curve, and of course, that is Pennacool.com. And we also want to point out some new features to the site.
We also want to show you how you can implement Pennacool.com in and out of the classroom. I'm going to share how I've been using it both during this remote learning period as well as in the physical setting. We'll also discuss some unique and fun ways to use it even when we have limited facilities.
And finally, we want to talk about the benefits of Pennacool.com. We want to look at how both students and the teachers can benefit once the tool is properly integrated. But before we begin, I just want us to talk a little bit about technology. History has changed significantly, yet our classrooms have remained almost the same after 100 years. As external environments change, so too do the generations. We talk about 21st century learners all the time, but what does that actually mean? 21st century learner actually spans like 3 generations. You have the generation X, the generation Y, and generation Z. And the Gen Zers are the ones who are currently occupying our classrooms in standards 4 and 5. And then, of course, there's the emergence of Generation Alpha, who would be the students who are under the age of 10. And these students do not know a time before technology. They don't know about the television signing off, like what we knew. You would get up early in the morning and wait for those lines to disappear. They don't know about the rotary phone that our parents would put a little lock on to prevent us from making phone calls. They were born into a time of tech. Yet our teaching tends to remain the same. And what we are finding as teachers is that their attention spans seem to be getting less and less, and they are more unsettled in the classes. So how do we evolve in our classrooms to actually engage these learners? Well, the simple answer is we have to get to know who they are, and then we have to tap into what they like. This is a technologically driven age, and these students currently at the primary school, they were born into this time. And this is why I'm really excited to chat about Pennacool.com, because it is the first locally based product that had that foresight to create something for this generation of students, and they created this 11 years ago. And they've proven that they are a sustainable company because they continuously improve the product to meet the needs of students as time changes. We just want to take a quick look at how they actually got started. And this is a video that was made 2 years ago.
I and Feshu Chroma and my business partner are the developers of Pennacool.com. We started about 9 years ago. Feshu's son was sitting the exam at the time. He came to me one day and he said, "John, I can't find anything online. Why don't we start a business which has online essay material involved in it?" And I thought to myself, that is a brilliant idea.
I went online, took a look at the program, and for me, it was revolutionary. It was really blew my mind. We contacted Pennacool.com and we came on initially as a sponsor. So around 3 years ago, we signed a contract with them and we now power Pennacool.com. On top of powering them, we actually power 30 schools. So we have given them 240 megabits download speed free. And they will continue getting it for free. Because for us, it's all about the experience with the program. So the teachers have a great experience and the kids have a great experience.
Pennacool.com, powered by Flow, is pioneering in Trinidad and Tobago the use of ICT in education. This is, given the age in which we live, this is not a small thing.
All right. So, Kim, John mentioned that Pennacool.com was actually created as a digital assessment tool for SEA out of a need because nothing like that had existed before. And I really like to examine tech tools to see if they actually hold up to the 21st century model standard. So can you tell me a little bit about how this tool actually works?
Not a problem at all. Well, the initial stage is quite simple. What you do is you go to Pennacool.com and register as a teacher with your email address. And once verified by Pennacool, you can then register your class. You also have the option of doing that for yourself, or you can actually get someone from Pennacool.com to assist. This way, the students don't have to register themselves. It's quick and painless. As a teacher, what you would do is that you would then distribute the students' names, usernames, and passwords so that they can gain access to their class. And this is really important because students may have a private account that they were using prior to this. When this is finished, you can then access all the features after that. Additionally, if the class is already in the system, you can access them and you can get them to also connect their class to the new Atlantic Pennacool collaboration tool. And what this does, it is allows the teachers to communicate and send assignments to their students, both at the secondary and the primary school level.
So that's fantastic, Kim. Can you tell me a little bit more about this collaboration tool?
Sure. The Atlantic site is a wonderful tool. And this is where teachers can upload lessons, notes, class files, and assignments to the students. There is also a submission portal and a messaging site for the students and teachers to stay connected with each other.
Wow, that's fantastic. But you know, the reality is, Kim, there are several assessment tools in existence currently. What makes Pennacool.com different from all the other assessment tools online?
Well, I would say that the difference is that it's the only one that's aligned to Trinidad and Tobago's Ministry of Education curriculum in maths and language arts. And they've even recently introduced the Values, Character, and Citizenship Education Program. And I believe this one is sponsored by Royal Bank. But as teachers, we better know it as VCCE. And the VCCE is more than just an assessment tool on Pennacool. It is built in with learning content that has embedded videos and graphics that are really captivating to the children. And the questions on the VCCE, they are varied, such as they have multiple choice, matching answers, and even crossword puzzles.
Right. Well, that VCCE Community Challenge sponsored by Republic Bank is really looking like something quite interesting. But is this actually available like to the entire school?
Pennacool currently provides contents for standard 3 to 5, but the intention is to expand to standards 1 and 2 in the future.
Okay.
Sure. You know what? It saves me a lot of time in finding that relevant local content. And what's even better, it's laid out in topics. So if you were to go to Pennacool.com, as you would see here, you'll see the indices. And if I go in, I could see standard 3 and standard 4. You'll be able to see the different topics that are being offered. And what I liked is that the material is chunked and scaffolded. So I have the ability to assign my students questions by topics. And what I also learned is that from June 23rd, there will be weekly timed SAA practice tests sponsored by Massey. And these tests were created by Ms. Kishami Diraim Gosain, who is the principal of Gandhi Memorial Vedic Primary School, which produced a top SAA student in 2018.
This is really excellent. I'm really happy to hear that the content is actually created by educators who are in the system. And that would actually signify that, you know, they're familiar with what the students actually need. And, but you mentioned that is laid out in themes and further subdivided into topic scheme. How is this different from using a textbook? Aren't most textbooks laid out in a similar thematic format?
Yes, the textbooks are, and there are some really wonderful ones out there. But Pennacool.com is set up in such a way that apart from being curriculum aligned, it also indicates which objectives each topic covers. For example, if you look at a standard for mathematics progression, as you'll see here, you will see that it shows you which topic covers the relevant objective. And this is very useful and saves a lot of time when you have to create your schema work. Additionally, Leanne, I have never had a textbook that corrected an assignment for me. Pennacool.com is self-correcting and additionally has worked examples and video tutorials. So another huge time saver for me. And I really wanted our viewers to hear the perspective of some of the other stakeholders in response to Pennacool.com as well.
Well, we actually have some wonderful testimonials. These are some testimonials from actual students who are currently in standards 4 and 5.
Well, actually, one of them in standard 3 as well too. Elia, she's in standard 3. Yeah.
And I mean, just look at what they're saying. They're talking about the fact that the VCCE challenge is helping them to be more responsible and caring. They're talking about, Elia actually mentioned that it is helping her to be more determined. And of course, she mentioned her favorite scoreboard, which we'll talk a little bit about, is the festival tablet. And Joshua actually mentions, the exciting prizes encourage and reward his efforts. So these are testimonials from actual students. And then this is from a parent. And a parent actually suggested that Pennacool.com actually creates a parent portal for them to go through the exercises so that they can be able to help their own children. And finally, and she's with us here in the Zoom today, Suzette Phillips actually speaks about her experience, where the gentleman with the manila folder coming in to give prizes, how it becomes so exciting. And these are real testimonials. These are people who have experienced it. And I'm pretty sure many of us would have had that experience with Pennacool.com and can talk about the benefits that it brings. And we're actually going to be looking at those things as we go forward. It's really wonderful that Pennacool has included Kim. It really is wonderful that Pennacool has decided to include like self-correcting and providing tutorials for students. I actually wonder if they can do one for my subject. I teach French, so Pennacool, if you could organize, I'd be very grateful. And I always say, if tech tools doesn't make your job easier or add benefits to you as a teacher or student, then it should not be used. So I want to take a little look at how the self-correcting is actually done. And this is actually a tutorial that Pennacool has on their YouTube site. So you can visit their YouTube site to check out some of their tutorials, but it will help give a greater understanding as to how this self-correcting is actually done. So let's take a look.
Hi, welcome to Pennacool.com's demo video for practice exercises. Practice exercises is the second tab on the home page. Here we can see all of the exercises are arranged by standard level: Standard 3, Standard 4, and Standard 5. If we click on a section, we will see all of the topics available in that section. If we click on a topic, we will see all of the practice exercises available in that topic. Let's take a look at what inside a practice exercise looks like. We can see that there are 12 questions in this exercise. Let's try number 1. Which clock shows the same time as the one shown below? Click check to see if your answer is correct. Great, we got this one right. Let's try number 2. What time is it? Write your answer in analog format and in words. Oops, I got this one wrong. That's okay, I can just try again. Great. As we scroll down, we can see that there are YouTube icons. If we click on this icon, a video will appear explaining this topic. Once you've completed the exercise and entered all of your answers, click Submit Answers at the bottom of the page. And voila, your test is automatically corrected.
Hi, Leanne. Did you see that email icon in the video also?
Yes, I did. What was that about? Because I didn't mention it in the video.
That actually is a really cool feature Pinnacle has. The students can send a private email to their teachers asking questions, which teachers can address in class without even identifying the child. What I would do is that if students have difficulties with one of these questions and they send to me an email, I could go back to class and address it as a whole class forum. And it's really cool because with the tutorials and the worked example plus the email, students, it's like having a personal assistant at home. And this is really important because some parents, whilst they are very willing, they have difficulties in assisting their children with the work.
You know, that's really wonderful that Pinnacle has included this aspect of communication, because this is actually one of the skills that's required for the 21st century student. And I'm pretty sure this was particularly useful during this remote teaching period. Because I know sometimes, you know, students are afraid to actually come and talk to the teacher. So some of them would actually prefer to send a message, or, you know, it's difficult for them to ask a question in front of their classmates. So I really do like that they have included and thought about having an email option, as well as the teacher can actually respond directly if necessary at that time. So it also allows for real-time response if the teacher so desires.
Yes.
But you were talking about homework. Let's talk about homework. You know, it's not necessarily a favorite topic for students and for teachers, because, you know, sometimes we say, oh gosh, these children, they're not doing their homework. How can I get them to do their homework? From your experience, have you found that students respond differently when assigned exercises from Pinnacle versus from a book?
Yes, that has been my experience. The students actually prefer doing the assignments on the devices more than inside of their books. And several times I would have students who would actually do more than what was assigned to them.
Okay.
Also, even as we could see some of the research that you have displayed here, we could talk about this being more individualized, where students are able to move at their own pace. There is less pressure. There is no embarrassment when they get something wrong, and there is no time pressure involved in doing the exercises, And to students, it's like playing with the computer. For them, it's all fun and games. And as mentioned before, there is the feedback, the works examples, the tutorials, as we could see that they have here. Feedback is really important for students, especially when you're giving them homework. The differentiation. It's not a one-size-fits-all thing. It's the ability to assign different questions to different levels within one class. For example, numeracy. There is standard 3 and the 4 and 5 curriculum. So I could take questions from those two different levels and assign those questions based on the ability of the child rather than whole class homework exercises. And I would say that the last thing my students really like is competing for prizes.
Don't we all? And remember, teachers, I hope you all are paying attention, because we do have something for you at the end. So you need to be paying attention throughout. But, you know, Kim, these are really excellent. I mean, I just want to recap a little bit what we have heard so far. What are some of the benefits? So it is self-correcting. So that way students are able to tell whether they are right or wrong immediately. And then of course, with the self-correcting, there are also the tutorials. So that's really excellent. And then you spoke about the students being motivated by the technology, but also incentivized because you have the prizes. So they work harder. You also spoke about targeting specific topics. And this is a really important point. I am really happy to hear that, Pinnacle has set up their system in such a way that it does allow for differentiation, that it does allow for students within one class to be assigned different questions, even from different levels. So that is really important. And of course, students like it because it's private, so you can get your stuff wrong in private and, only the teacher would get that feedback. Your friends don't necessarily know, and you don't feel that kind of pressure. So I think these are excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. But just to talk a little bit more about this in terms of the fact that students are getting to use technology. And I want to go back to the point where I mentioned that this is Generation Z that we're dealing with. Pinnacle has actually included some of the gaming elements in their product. And that is a definite motivator for Gen Zers. If you were to go to any research and you looked at Gen Z, they will talk about how they love gaming. And the fact that Pinnacle actually included these elements certainly will explain why the students like it. The research actually confirms that Gen Zers prefer to answer short online exams. And of course, it continues to talk about the fact that games are very effective to review material, and it also allows the students to be able to share their knowledge. The students can become very active and put a lot of concentration on the game. So that would explain when you mentioned that students tend to do more work, because in their minds, it's gaming as opposed to homework. And of course, I mean, in terms of game challenges, who doesn't like to win prizes, right?
And that's totally right. And what I like is that not only is Pinnacle.com free, it rewards you for doing your work. They reward the top performers and the general participation. Right. There are also class rewards, whole school rewards, and even rewards for teachers, like how we have it today as well, too, if they're listening.
And I mean, Pinnacle, which is powered by Flow, they, as you mentioned, they love to give prizes. And of course, some of these prizes range from like free Wi-Fi from Flow. So schools can get free Wi-Fi. Then there are the vouchers. You have Right Start accounts, hampers from many different companies. You have tablets that both individuals and schools can win. You have class parties. You have cash prizes. I mean, and of course, you mentioned, there will be 3 prizes given away today to our live viewers. So, even Kim, they're even currently running a competition where you can win a $3,000 makeover for your classroom. And which teacher does not like to have their classrooms nicely decorated?
Oh, we do.
So teachers, you can definitely check this out. This is part of the Republic Bank PCCE Community Challenge. So you can definitely go and check this out, get your students working, and you can win a $3,000 prize for your class. But Kim, I heard you mention something about class rewards and school rewards. So apart from the individual rewards, does that mean that students then have to collaborate to win these prizes? How does this work?
Oh, yes, most definitely. The more the students participate, the more points are awarded. So we have to work together. And this encourages students to work together. And this can be a great motivator for even someone who doesn't like to normally do work.
Okay, I'm very happy. I'm hearing all these C's in the 21st century learning model, because you just spoke about collaboration being one of them. And this is really great to hear, because, normally in our classroom settings, it tends to be competition, one against the other person. But I'm actually hearing co-opetition, and that is where you have cooperation and competition. And this is kind of building innate values in our students, because you can then encourage the stronger students to help the weaker students so that we all benefit at the end of the day. I can even see this being used to encourage things like school spirit. And certainly we need a little bit more of that, assisting everyone to come up to a certain standard in our society today.
For sure, that is true. But additionally, with all of this, what I also get is a detailed real-time report which means I can monitor the students' activity while they are actually working on Pennacool. And I can use a phone, I could use a tablet, I could use a computer to do this. I also can track which topic each student's completed, and I get both the individual grade as well as the average class grade. There is also a performance average by question. So from a glance, I can easily tell how the class is doing, how each child is performing. And then I can tell where the weaker concepts are. And this helps me in planning how I address students' needs and also gives insight into how long I'm going to spend on a particular topic.
Okay. Very interesting. Well, I think this report is definitely one of the key features because, of course, when teachers know what students know or don't know, they can actually then adjust to meet their students at their level. But Kim, I'm seeing lots of colors and ticks and squares and all sorts of things going on here. So if you could just run us through how this report actually works and what it means, that'll be very useful.
No problem. So this is one of my class reports here. So what you would see, well, the first column is the names. The second columns, you would see the grade, the student's grade. And this is the grade that they would have gotten out of 100. The next column would tell me the amount of attempts that this particular student made at this particular exercise. The next set of columns that you would see running from 1 to 12, they are the question numbers. And what you would do is if you click on any one of these numbers, it would actually tell you what was the question that was asked. Now, when you go down now, you see the first line, it's red blocks going straight across. What this tells me is that this student opened this exercise and may have closed it again without attempting it. Now I could say that because I see 2 attempts. So maybe they did the first attempt and then accidentally reopened it and just closed it. Different reasons. Now this second one here, I see a green tick. That green tick tells me that this student, when they attempted this particular question, got it correct on the very first attempt. The tick you'll see under the number 5 is that this student attempted this question, but got it correct on a subsequent try. It may be their second, third, or fourth try, okay? And that's something I love about Pennacool, is that it allows the children to keep going at it. You know, it doesn't just say, this is wrong, and that's the end. Now, if we move down, we see some blue squares, and that meant that the student has not attempted the exercise at all. So you can see here, the grade is still 0, and there are no attempts. And if we come down, we see a little red X here, and that means that the student got this particular question wrong, and they did not try again. Now, continuing on with it, at the bottom, you see the class totals now. This last total here of 84% tells me the overall average that the class has scored. So I know my class is in that 84 percentile there. I look down further now to this next column and I see 89%. And I know this is in column 1 where question 1 is. So it tells me that 89% got that question correct, and that will be the 89% who answered. Now, if I look down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I see 76%. And I can immediately spot that this question here would have given the most problem in this exercise. So this may be something that I may have to review with my students to go over a particular concept, or maybe just sit down and chat with them about exactly what caused the difficulties in the first place so that we could move ahead on this particular point.
This definitely gives us a lot of information. And what I like is that even with the second attempt or the more attempts that they can do, they do have tutorials and the worked examples to go back to as well. So it's not just an exercise where they have to be guessing. And I would imagine, Kim, that this helps you to provide better feedback to like your students, the parents, and even to your administrators.
Most definitely. Real accurate data, which is already collated for me, color-coded, and so easy to understand.
Well, let's talk a little bit about some of the questions that we think some of our teachers would have. I mean, we certainly have highlighted the benefits that teachers and students can get from integrating Pennacool.com, but we know that it is an online platform, and therefore, to use it, we need internet access. But most schools may have limited Wi-Fi. So how do we combat that?
Well, in my class, I have a television, which I connect to my laptop. And I use this to project the questions from Pennacool onto that particular screen. And the students, what we do, we work through those questions together as a class, both orally and written. And this helps where devices are limited or in particular instances where the Wi-Fi may be a bit choppy. And what we do is we sometimes do it as a game, and this helps the students to forget that we are doing work. And, you know, it just increases the engagement. And Leanne, I have this little 2-minute timer. It's like this small. And, you know, I just have it on my desk and I tell them, answer this question. Ready, set, go. And I flip the timer and everybody is there and it's just scampering crazy. And it's just such a wonderful time. And, you know, this really helps with the gamification part of it. But it also helps prepare them to work to the time.
Right.
Out that actual pressure of sitting down there and listening to this little TikTok kind of way that, you know, we love to do.
You know, and even as you're saying that, like some ideas are popping into my head. Even if you only have one device, you can use it in terms of like learning stations. So for example, I'm thinking, and let me see if I could remember some stuff from primary school. Things like, okay, maybe geometry. You might have like one station where you have like tins and stuff from your cupboard. And then you may have another station where you may have like a place where students can probably build a puzzle with either Play-Doh or paper. And then you can have a final station where you have one computer or one tablet, and that would have like the questions from the solid plane shapes where the students can go and then attempt those questions. So it's like, of course, including things like movement in your lesson, encouraging collaboration, and of course, appealing to the many learning styles in your classroom. So I can see even with one device, you can still do something like that and include Pennacool and of course, have fun in your classrooms.
Yeah, that's so true. And one of the things I like is that it can be used on any type of device. And the students also develop typing skills, which means the students with phones can easily access the site. And in cases where students may not have a device, even if your school has just one computer, students could work in groups, and they could do this in the mornings when they come to school, at break times, at lunch times. The children in my school, they run down to that computer room or all lunchtime, break time, so they don't get a chance at all. And of course, remember, the students and schools, they could win tablets by participating in the different Pennacool challenges.
And they can also win Wi-Fi from Flow, yes?
Yes, so true.
So, well, Kim, I think you have convinced me and many other educators that Pennacool is an ICT tool worth exploring, as it brings numerous 21st century benefits to both the students and the teachers. So let's just take a few questions and comments from our participants. And of course, we want you to be able to just ask any questions. We also want you to take notes of this information, so you can email if you have questions after the session. You can check out the website, you can call, and of course, Pennacool is also on all the social media platforms, so you can feel free to follow as you go along. But don't leave just yet, because after the questions and the comments, remember, we're going to have a little surprise for 3 of our viewers. All right, so whether you're viewing with us on Zoom or with us on Facebook Live, we will have something for you. So I'm just going to close this off a little while so that I can take some comments. So Kim is going to look at the comments in the Zoom, and I'm going to check Facebook to see if we missed any. I know we had Alicia with us answering on Facebook Live. So Kim is asking, and Kim is from Barbados, joining us from Barbados. Hi, Kim.
Wow.
Kim is asking.
Hi, Kim.
Oh, yes, and this is another Kim. So how simple is it for students to sign up, and does it cater to English as well as just mathematics? So yes, Kim, there is English, there is mathematics, and the sign-up process is actually pretty simple. So I'm going to ask Kim Mitchell-Pear to just remind us a little bit about the sign-up process.
And this question is also answered for Master Augustine as well too, how you register yourself and your child. Remember, all you need to do is you go back to pennacool.com, right? And you need a email address. And what you're going to do is you're signing up with your email address. Now, remember, you can create 2 different Pennacool accounts. One where the child is using it at school, and that is where the teacher signs up the child and the teacher gives the child the username and password. But as a parent, you could also individually sign up your child. Now, this process is not an automatic process. We do have to wait a short while in order for Pennacool to really identify that, yes, your child is in this particular school with this particular class, so there are some calls that need to be made. Or in the private instance, Pennacool will contact you via email or phone or however, and then you will be able to be registered and to start using. And again, it's free.
So Kim, just to answer another question, can teachers sign up students? So yes, Colin, when you go to pennacool.com, you can sign up your students, or you can actually get someone from pennacool.com to help you. What are the requirements? You just need to be a registered teacher in the system, and they will contact you, and that's it. And just answering for Safraz, does it have social studies? Well, so within the VCCE, so I'm going to let Kim take that question in terms of how the VCCE actually works.
Yes, it does. So within the VCCE, they have respect, they have trustworthiness, and there's a whole series within the values and character education. But what I've seen since I have personally used it is that they also had the identification of various things like the national flag and certain elements. So going along with citizenship, there is a lot under citizenship that ties into social studies aspect as well too. So yes, there is that social studies VCCE collaboration intertwining of that particular topic.
And Jem, who is also from Barbados, just said she has already registered her class. So we know that you've convinced them, Kim. You've done a really good job of convincing them that they should sign up. And
I see Nicole Dates as well too. She asks, can you suggest how to access pennacool.com with limited Wi-Fi access at your school? Now, sometimes we have these problems, but what I would suggest is that moving either, if you can get the device closer to the school's router. These are just little technical tips, go closer to the router, wherever that space is, so that you could get a little boost of signal. And again, if it is that your Wi-Fi is not at the bandwidth that you would need it to be to run all the devices at once, then do the group collaboration. So have like 3 to 4 children work together at one time on one device. So that helps a flow of stuff. So it gets better at that point in time.
And just reminding you, the more we can get our students to use it, the better possibility that you can actually win Wi-Fi for your students, as well as some more devices. So remember, you can use it as homework as well. So even if at school you don't have Wi-Fi, you can also use it to assign homework if your students do have that available at home. We have another question. Okay,
I have one from Michelle as well too. Michelle Abert, can you print the report card? At present, Michelle, no, it cannot be printed, but I do some neat little snapshots. But Pennacool, we know Pennacool is listening, so that may be another one up for us. Thank you for asking that question, Michelle. That was an awesome question. Pennacool, we would like to print report cards too.
And of course, as you're saying, we can also send feedback. If there are things that we would like, please feel free to send your feedback. They are listening because they want to make sure this tool is useful for us as teachers. So you can feel free to send any feedback when you get into the program, send that feedback. And we also have another question from Alafia. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correct. And my apologies if I'm not. For the SEA questions, is each question aligned to a specific objective from the new SEA framework?
So far, what I have seen, the answer is most definitely yes. Most definitely yes, because we've been going through it. My class is presently in Standard 4 and we'll be going to Standard 5 very soon. But everything that we've been doing on Pennacool and what we've been using has been aligned to the new MOE's curriculum. And it's been a great joy in just having those material and that resource right there and available whenever we need it.
And for those of you who would like to try it out, we do have available that you can go to pennacool.com. So Alicia would have posted it, but she's going to post it again, and Kim is going to post it in the Zoom chat. if you want to test it out before registering, you can by going to pennacool.com with the username testteacher, one word, and password tester. So that would give you an idea. You can go and explore. And of course, if you're already convinced, just go right ahead, register, and someone from pennacool.com will contact you. And I think we've made them wait long enough. So we have 3 vouchers that will be available for rituals. So teachers, if you go on to, we are posting a link right now
posted it.
in the Zoom chat, as well as Alicia is going to post the link to the competition. And the code is Flow Pennacool, right? So if you go into that link, we'll ask you 5 questions about what we talked about today. So we hope, like good students, you were paying attention. And you can win. The winners will be announced both on Pennacool's Facebook page as well as 21st Century Educators Facebook page. And I'm seeing, are there any more questions? So let's just make sure, right? So Colin,
yes, I have one as well too, asking about if there are the new SCA formats. Again, remember on the 23rd, they are also bringing out the SCA test papers as well too. Now they have a series of them that are already out. There are 4 of them, I believe, that are already out, both math and language arts. And it's aligned to how the new test is. So for standard 5 teachers who need to get extra practice tests, they're ready for maths, they're ready for language, and the others are rolling out. So yes, the SCA format is there. So you can go ahead and log into that.
And Kim, we have another question from Facebook from Colin. He wants to know, can you assign work using the website, or do you just have to tell students to do a particular topic?
Oh, I assign work. My class has been doing remote teaching for this entire period. We've been online since March. And almost daily, they have assigned work from Pennacool, and it goes as to however we're doing it. So if we are on, well, this is my particular class, we come on Zoom, and if I teach a particular concept, let's say verbs, and we do something in verbs, then the practice exercise they have afterwards would be Pennacool. So I would just send them the link for exactly what I want them to do in that particular verb exercise, which topic, whether it's past tense, whether it's whichever topic I want, I send that particular one for them, and the entire class does the exercise, and then I get it back. Or again, I could differentiate the exercises. So if I know students are at different varying levels, I could choose, maybe if I'm doing mathematics, again, numeracy, I could choose some numeracy from standard 3 content, I could choose some numeracy from standard 4 content, and assign the homework for the students individually. And I could just keep assigning it daily or weekly. So however the students wish to get on with it, they get it done.
All right. So Alicia, someone would like for you to repeat the codes to test out pennacool.com. So if you can put it, we'll put it in the chat, Yolan. All right. So I think we have answered. Did we miss any questions or comments? I think we have answered all our questions and comments, and we look forward to hearing your experience. So please, of course, send your feedback and ask your questions. And I'm giving about 30 more seconds to see if anybody else has any questions or comments.
Standard 1 group enter Pennacool, or is it only for standard 3 to 5? Our school, we had a big debate about this with Pennacool, and they said, you're free to sign up. Once you think that your class is able to manage the content, they can go on and register, especially for VCCE. The VCCE program, it's lovely. Get the students on there, they are going to enjoy it a lot. So if you have a standard 1 class, there is nothing that says you can't do it. What I believe is that it's specially catered for 3 to 5, but there is nothing that says you cannot sign up the lower classes.
And they are trying to get standard 1 and 2 on board soon, hopefully.
Very soon.
And we have another question, actually. Someone wants to get some more information about the Atlantic Connect. So basically what it is a homework collaboration portal or platform, which allows you to be able to communicate with your students. So you can go and sign up for the Atlantic Connect, and we will post the link for you to be able to do that, as well as it also allows you to send assignments as well as send messages to your students, and your students can also send messages to you. And of course, it allows you to assign stuff from pennacool.com already as well. But it is open to primary and secondary school teachers. So let's see, we want to make sure we didn't miss any questions or comments. And of course, as I mentioned, you can send us feedback at pennacool.com. If you know a question comes up after or a thought arises, feel free to communicate. They love to hear from teachers, right? So just one reminder as we come to a close, if we have no more questions or comments, remember, if we
There's
teach
one more
today's,
person asking for another session.
oh, well, definitely send that feedback to pennacool.com and we will let them know. All right. So we want to remind teachers that, you know, at the end of the day, we want you to look at pennacool.com as a really good way to introduce 21st century skills to our students. It's a way to appeal to this generation and still get work done, because as John Dewey said, if we teach today's students as we taught yesterday's, we rob them of tomorrow. And we really want to thank Flo for making this session possible. And I really want to thank Kim Mitchell-Pear for sharing all her knowledge and for joining us this afternoon. We want to thank all of you. So thank you so very much. And that's it for us. So bye. Oh, I think we still have one more question.
Oh, we do.
Or maybe they're saying bye. All right, so that's it. Okay, so everybody, bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.